What's up everybody, it's Beasties back at you with a new video. In this episode, I kind of wanted to talk about how I'm planning for Japan, and by no means is it a very concrete thing. I am very spontaneous, and I also don't love planning and researching. And when I first planned it, I bought my plane ticket first, and I kind of just went from there. I kind of started to look around places around the airport, and the first day I didn't want to make super stressful because I knew how I was last time. I was sleep deprived, I've been up for 30 hours, I was like bordering a panic attack, I wanted to go home, I was breaking down, it was bad, and trying to figure out the train system for the first time in Osaka when I landed was hell, and I don't want to put myself through that again. So I literally am getting there, and I'm going to a hotel right by Narita. So I am not trying to stress myself out by any means. So I recommend making it easy for you, easy as you can. And when you're planning, you need to take that into account, because as much as, especially if you're here for like 2 weeks or a week, you're going to want to do a lot. But I really recommend making the first day as easy as possible, because I guarantee you are not going to want to do much of anything except attempt to sleep, which will be very hard because you'll most likely be jet lagged. But I recommend making it as easy as possible because I know I need it. So the first thing I did after I bought my plane ticket and I kind of just started to look. I know I'm going to be staying in Tokyo for X amount of days because I know Tokyo's huge, and I did a good amount the first time I went, but I didn't really make the most of it. And it's not like I'm trying to optimize my time. The reason I'm taking such a long trip, I'm going to be there for over a month. The reason I'm taking such a long trip is so I can take my time and really take in all the places I'm going to. So I knew with Tokyo being so big, it's the biggest city in the world, I wanted to take a little extra time. So I think I'm spending about 10 days in Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. So I would really plan out like, okay, how long are you staying? Once you book your plane ticket, you know your date range. So how long am I staying? And then Tokyo, okay, I'm landing in Tokyo, or I'm landing in Osaka. What am I going to do from there? And then where am I going to go from there? So from Tokyo, I am going to... this is where it's not super smart, but I'm going to be there for 10 days, so I figure by then I'll be pretty accustomed to everything. So I decided... From Tokyo, I was going to go to Hakodate. I was going to go straight from Tokyo to Sapporo, but it's like an 8-hour train ride. I could take a plane, but something about the Shinkansens, man. The Shinkansens are so nice. But I'll get into that a little bit later because the JR Pass is so messy. But I ended up splitting in half, and I've heard a lot of good things about Hakodate. I've never been to Hokkaido, so Hakodate will be my first place I'll visit. I'm only there for a day because it's kind of splitting my trip in half, but I'm gonna be leaving early in the morning and then taking the train up, leaving my bags in my Airbnb and trying to explore Hakodate as much as I can. I've heard there's a good morning market, which I might do the morning I'm leaving. There's like it's called the Hakodate Ropeway, and it's a 3-minute trip. It takes you up the mountain and you can go back down. So I think that's really cool. Everything I saw from Hakodate looked actually so beautiful. And what I'm most excited about Hokkaido, I've heard so much good things about the food, and I'm really excited to try the ramen, the udon, you know, whatever it is. I'm really excited to try new things. And then from Hakodate, I'm going to be going to Sapporo for about a week. And then be going from Sapporo down to Aomori to visit my friend. And then Kanazawa for a week. Kanazawa I'm really excited for. Nagoya for a couple days. Osaka, Hiroshima, Fukuoka. And then my last day, I don't want to go. I don't want to try to make my flight. I think I leave at 3. But it goes back to the making it easy for you and making it convenient. So the last day, I'm going to take the train back from Fukuoka up to Tokyo, and I'm going to be staying by Tokyo Station, so then in the morning I don't have to stress myself out. I can take the train up, get to the airport as early as possible. I learned that from my dad. We got there like 6 hours early, I kid you not. It sucked. I'm not going to get there that early, but I want to make it as easy as possible, so I'm not, and the fact that my flight's at 3 is really nice too, so It's gonna be super nice. I can wake up whenever really and then start making my way there. So that is what I'm gonna stress the most when you plan, is making it convenient for you. So the next thing you should really do after you have your dates planned is start planning how much you're gonna be spending. And when I did, I definitely did not optimize it for being the cheapest trip. I don't make a lot of money. I work about full-time at my job. Just decided it was realistic that I could put like about $500 of each of my paychecks towards my trip. So I kind of did the math and I was like, okay, how much do I have to save and how long do I have to save it? So I realized it was realistic for me to do this trip. Otherwise I would not have done a month-long trip. And I'm very grateful to even have the opportunity to do so. So obviously doing it for over a month is not realistic for everybody. I'm very grateful to my job for even letting me be gone for over a month, because a lot of jobs would just fire me. So shout out my job. I'm not gonna dox myself or anything, but shout out them. After you gotta plan your funds. You should really try to overshoot how much you think you're gonna spend, because it's better to find out you have too much money than it is to be like, oh shoot, I gotta really cut it cut it tight. So when I started planning stuff out, I started to do my flight, obviously. So I booked my flight first and foremost, and then well, that probably shouldn't do that first. So before you even buy your flight, this is what I did before my flight. You should kind of take into account how much the flight's going to be and do an approximate lookup on like Google how much flights are going for, and then put out like a general date range, and then how much you're going to spend on food. And how I like to do food is plan about $100 a day, which might seem crazy, but I'm also kind of making that my spending money. It would be extremely hard to spend $100 a day, especially when you convert it to yen, because that's like, I want to say 160 or yeah, 16,000 yen a day, which is way more than you're going to be spending on food unless you eat Wagyu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I kind of made that my funds as well, and I know I would be shocked if I'm not leaving with money. So that's really the plan, because I'd rather plan for more money than, you know, not. So, and then the next one, I was fully committed to getting the JR Pass because we did it last time and it was great, but they increased the price like crazy. So I kind of did the little thing about how much I looked at all my routes, and I was like, okay, how much is this ticket gonna take from, like, for example, Tokyo to Hakodate? And then I kind of crunched the numbers and realized that it would be worth it, just worth it, if I did a 2-week right when I was leaving Tokyo until I went to Nagoya, because it's about 80,000 yen for the JR Pass for 2 weeks. And if I did not have the JR Pass, it would be 84,180 about. So it's just worth it. So that kind of shows you how much the JR Pass is kind of fallen off. And if you think you're going to be doing a lot of it, then fine. But honestly, if you're taking the Shinkansen that much that it's worth it, I don't even know how much you're seeing, really, because I'm doing a lot of traveling in that, you know, time period. But, you know, if you're just planning on staying in like the general area, just buy the tickets, buy the regular. You can even do green ticket if you want. It would probably still not be worth it if you did the JR Pass. So definitely see, for what you're planning to do, I would definitely check how much each ticket would cost before committing the JR Pass, because the JR Pass is ridiculously expensive, and I hope they drop it soon. Yeah, just don't spend a ton of money if you don't have to. I literally saved myself $800 by not buying the JR Pass, because I'm going to be gone for over a month, so I was going to buy a 2-week and then a 3-week. But that would have been really stupid, and I would have spent literally $1,600 for something that I don't need. So please look it up, and I'm only doing 2 weeks, so, you know, don't spend money on things you don't need, like two JR passes. Don't do that. Next, you should kind of look at, like, kind of figure out how much you want to spend on lodging. I didn't, and I started to kind of look at how much lodging on each city was going to be. Obviously, it's less expensive in not Tokyo. Tokyo is going to be by far the most expensive city you're going to stay in. I'm going to look at, I used Airbnb, but it's not the cheapest option by any means. So I would kind of figure out how much you're looking to spend and look at Airbnb or look at hostels and look how much they are per night, and then budget out like how long you're looking to stay in Tokyo, how long you're looking to stay in blah 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 blah. Just kind of budget it out and then add them all up at the bottom, so then you have your food. And then another important thing is transit. Get a Suica card, get the Ikoka card, get the Passmo, get all of them, because you can stack them, and it's about $200. Well, it's really like $160 per. It's actually about $130. It's about $130 per transit card. So I got my Suica card, I got my Ikoka card, and I'm just gonna load them up. And the Suica cards are the transit cards, I should say, are amazing because you can use them at 7-Elevens, you can use them at convenience stores, so you don't have to sit there fumbling around like an idiot with your yen, while the convenience store worker looks at you like you're stupid. I had multiple people help me with my yen, so to prevent the embarrassment from happening, which will happen regardless because you're a foreigner in another country, prevent anything, it's much easier to do transit. Obviously, cash is still huge in Japan, so that's not going to get you everything. Especially restaurants, you can't pay with your Suica card. But like baseball games, I paid for like my drinks at a baseball game with my Suica card. So it's very widely accepted, but more mom and pop restaurants obviously aren't going to take them. A lot of restaurants won't take them, period. So that's why you kind of want to have the more food, because I used so much of my transit card because at some point I was just like, I don't want to fumble around with my coins, my 1 yen coins. So transit, JR pass, food spending, and flight. There are obviously more expenses that I'm not including. But you should kind of just buy them as soon as you can. And those are, if you're going to be in the more rural areas, do the vaccine, because I'd rather not deal with brain swelling, but it's also really expensive. So if you're just going to be in Tokyo, don't worry about it. I was fine. But I'm thinking I might this time, because I'm going to be going literally from the north all the way down to the south. So I'd rather err on the side of caution. Not that I'm looking to go in the wilderness, not that I'm trying to go farming or anything, but I think I'd rather be safe than sorry. Another thing would be an eSIM. As far as what eSIMs go, or as far as like health insurance, like travel insurance, I did a lot of research on eSIMs. And by a lot of research, I mean I looked up best eSIMs for Japan, Reddit. And I kind of went from there. So you know, make your best judgment. It doesn't have to be fancy. I used T-Mobile when I went there last, and it was awful. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't anything to write home about. I was able to listen to Utopia in Hiroshima, but that was kind of about it. Messaging was a little shaky. I was able to have a couple calls, which is kind of cool, but yeah, I would recommend an eSIM because it actually pulls from the cellular towers there. I don't know what T-Mobile uses. I'm sure it pulls from the cellular towers there, but it wasn't great. So kind of look at eSIMs because you can get them at the airport or you can get them beforehand. It makes your experience a lot better because it's so brutal trying to figure out if you're on, like, you need it. You need maps. You need a lot of different things. So kind of just figure out your budget and go from there. So I will show you guys a kind of example thing. So I have my check mark thing on the left with all the X's that are things that I have bought, and then I have things that I'm kind of halfway towards or moving towards. I have what I'm going to be spending on each thing approximately, and then I have my dates, and then I have all my friends that I might visit. This is how much I've saved. This is how much my lodging total will be. This is how much I've saved from the lodging total. This is how much I'm spending in total. And this is how much I have left. So, you know, kind of optimize it as much as you can. You'll make mistakes, obviously, but if you think it's realistic, then definitely go for it. If you have never traveled before, definitely go for it, because getting out of your comfort zone is amazing, and this definitely helped me get there. And I wouldn't have done it without my dad, so shout out my dad. But now that I know what it's like, I'd want to do nothing but travel because why not see more of the world? So if you're thinking about it, do it. And thank you for watching my video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it, and I hope you learned something. I hope I helped you in some way. Obviously, your sheet will look different, but I appreciate you guys for watching as always, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye!